So I'm back, and I saw some movies, and we're going to talk about them. Also, sorry if you hear any background noise. I have a heater on, and it's cold in here, so not going to turn it off. First movie I watched was Astra, and it was... I'm sorry, I wanted to love this movie, but I didn't. I feel the same about this movie as I do about Shadow. I found it underwhelming, but not sure why. I wanted to love this. I really did, but I didn't. I really don't know why I don't love it. Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention? I don't know. I think I'll have to watch this again on Blu-ray when it comes out to decide how I feel, but this is where I stand. Let's talk about some positives. The movie looks fantastic. I think this might be the best movie of 2019 visually. Every shot of this movie is beautiful. I can definitely see the inspiration from 2001: A Space Odyssey in this movie, but there were a couple shots that reminded me of Blade Runner 2049. If you do want to see this, see it on the biggest screen possible. It looks amazing. The cast is fantastic as well. Brad Pitt is amazing. This is a big year for him, with this and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now let's get into some negatives. As I said, I was underwhelmed, and I wasn't really invested in it, but there are a couple other issues. There are scenes of narration. While they are important, I feel they get in the way of some scenes that would have worked better without them. Liv Tyler is in the movie, and I can't remember her name, nor do I think she actually needed to be there. Overall, I thought Ad Astra was a beautiful yet underwhelming movie that I'll have to watch again to decide what my opinion will be, and I'm giving this one a 3.5 out of 5. It's more like a 3, but it gets an extra 0.5 for the visuals. The next movie I watched was Joker, and it was definitely the best of the 3 movies I watched. It's funny how a solo movie about one of DC's villains is better than their entire cinematic extended universe about their heroes. Joker is fantastic. This is easily one of the best films of 2019 and the best live-action DC movie since the Dark Knight trilogy. This is not a typical comic book movie. This is a dark, disturbing, and realistic character study. The things that happen in this movie can actually happen in real life, unlike Endgame with time travel and aliens and all that. This movie is R-rated, and for good reason. It's pretty violent at times, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. When this movie was announced, I wasn't sure what rating it would get, but I'm glad it got the rating it did, because it wouldn't be as great if it was rated PG-13. The acting's good and all, but I want to talk about Joaquin Phoenix as Arthur Fleck. This guy is fantastic. I can definitely see why people want him to get the Oscar for this role. This is easily one of my favorite performances of the year. Joaquin Phoenix is up there with Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill, but he's no Wiseau.
What doesn't kill you make you stranger.
This isn't really a spoiler, but we don't actually get to see Joker until around an hour and a half into the movie. So technically, Arthur is a more fitting title than Joker. I love how he becomes the Joker, which is not at all like the Killing Joke. The things in this movie can actually happen. I don't believe we're going to get mass shootings from this movie. It's not really that violent, nor does it pander to incels. Deadpool is more violent than this. Here's something I want to know. Why is The Purge okay, but this isn't? I've heard there's definitely influence from Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy in here. I haven't seen either of those, but I feel like I should. Okay, I'm gonna talk spoilers now. If you don't want to hear any and just want to know my grade, skip to the time written on the screen. Okay, here we go. This movie does some things I did not expect. One of them being Arthur killing those guys beating him on the train. I figured that would be a key part in making him the Joker, but I didn't think he'd actually kill them. And then he dances in the bathroom. And then later we find out that Thomas Wayne is Arthur's father from an affair with Penny, Arthur's mother. But then she has a stroke, and Arthur visits Thomas in the bathroom, who tells him that Penny was delusional. So then Arthur visits a hospital and learns that he was adopted by Penny, and allowed her boyfriend to abuse both her and Arthur. And then he kills Penny by smothering her with a pillow. He just keeps that calm look on his face. I knew this movie would have the Waynes in it. I just wasn't expecting any of this to be in the movie. Arthur later gets invited to be on Live with Murray Franklin. That's Robert De Niro's character. And while preparing for the role, he's visited by 2 former co-workers and kills one of them with a pair of scissors. And then he kisses the other one.
That escalated quickly.
And then he asks Murray to introduce him as Joker when he goes on set. He plans to kill himself with a self-inflicted knock-knock joke, but instead he goes on a rant about society and shoots Murray. This was the biggest whoa moment for me in the movie. Joaquin's acting is great in this scene. It looks like he's really breaking down about society.
How about another joke, Ray? No, I think we've had enough of your jokes. What do you get? I don't think so. When you cross a mentally ill loader with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash. The police. I'll tell you what you get. The police. Get what you fucking deserve.
Nominate this man now. The scene also reminded me of the scene from The Dark Knight Returns, where Joker kills everyone on a talk show set. Arthur then gets arrested and is saved by Thomas Wayne protesters, and then the scene goes in the direction that I knew it was going to go in. Anyone who knows anything about Batman would know where that was going. After Thomas, Martha, and Bruce leave a movie theater after watching a Zorro movie, they go down that infamous alley to get away from the rioters. But then Thomas and Martha are shot by one. Now we have a reason for why they went down that alley in the first place. Another thing I wanted to mention is that we see Arthur hanging out with Zazie Beetz' character. But after he goes into an apartment, and I believe that these were all delusions in Arthur's head, as there's no way she would have known his first name after he never told her on their first meeting. I actually didn't realize until after seeing the movie that these were delusions. So those were my thoughts on Joker. I absolutely loved it, one of the top 5 movies of this year, and I can't wait to see it again. And I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5. Maybe it'll be a 5 on rewatch, but this is what it is now. The last movie I watched was In the Tall Grass, and it was definitely the worst of the 3. This is going to be short. I should say what I liked first. The cinematography is pretty good, the first 15 to 20 minutes are pretty good, and Patrick Wilson was entertaining. Okay, let's get to negatives. Most Stephen King stories usually have something paranormal or supernatural going on, this included, but I kind of wish it didn't. I wish it was more realistic with Patrick Wilson just being the villain. Oops, spoiler. Without all this haunted grass. All the time warping stuff made the movie confusing. Kinda had trouble following it. The acting is meh, except for Patrick Wilson, the only actor I actually knew. I guess all these years of being a paranormal investigator finally caught up to him. I enjoyed this a bit more than I did the Pet Sematary remake. This wasn't extremely dull like that was, but It Chapter 2 was way better. At least we have Dr. Sleep coming out in November. Hope that's good. Well, that was my first triple review. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. I have my gaming channel and social media linked in the description.